Welcome to Raj Sabha TV. You're watching a special coverage of Bihar. Today we bring to you a special report on Valmiki Tiger Reserve, the only project tiger in the state.
Protection of the tiger and its habitat may not be a direct election issue, but it stares us in the face nonetheless. The man versus animal equation needs a closer look. The story of the vanishing tiger. First, Sariska in Rajasthan reported a zero population. Panna in Madhya Pradesh added to the panic. Tigers were relocated to both Sariska and Panna, an attempt to revive the population here. Even amid this bleak picture in the country's leading tiger reserves, a little-known sanctuary has achieved wonders. At the Valmiki Tiger Reserve in Bihar, the tiger population has actually expanded, and naturally. From just 8 of the wild cats left in 2008, there are 22 here in 2014. A turnaround for this protected area from obscurity to relevance and appreciation.
Team of the forest officers who are posted there currently and before that also, they have made it possible to turn around the development of VTR. One another important factor is the posting of the SSB there, because that has helped us in controlling the poaching activities or other criminal elements who were roaming around in that area.
This is the India-Nepal international border north of Bihar. On the northeastern tip of this border lies the Valmiki Tiger Reserve, the only protected area of its kind in the state. The Valmiki Reserve has a unique mix of Tarai Bhabar vegetation among the last patches of its kind. Till a decade back, the jungles were infested with criminals and antisocial elements. Then to now, it's been quite a journey.
In the early morning, our TT will go inside the forest, because early morning there is a fair possibility that direct as well as indirect sighting of wildlife will be there. Before coming back from the forest, our patrolling party, which is mainly constituted of the local youth, they enter inside the forest. They do basically patrolling work from the designated area, and then they come back. Before coming back of this patrolling party, our again evening time our TT will enter inside the forest and do the same activity what they have done in the morning. And in the night, whole night, we have anti-poaching camps. Our anti-poaching camps personnel will remain inside the forest throughout the night.
The turning point came in 2001 when the Sashastra Seema Bal SSB was put in charge of the India-Nepal border. Border outposts were set up along the entire length of the border and in the Valmiki Tiger Reserve. Criminal elements were cleaned up. Part of the Memorandum of Understanding with the Bihar Forest Department to put up these outposts was guarding the forested area. Results were almost immediate. Tight security in the area meant poaching activity was reduced to virtually naught.
India-Nepal border is basically guarded by SSB, and SSB BOPs are mainly in our forest area, that is inside Valmiki Tiger Reserve. They are bound to help us. So what we do, we decided that for any sort of emergency activity, anytime we can call them and they are ready to help us. Apart from that, we have regularized some joint patrolling activity, that some night patrolling will be jointly done by SSB as well as our staff, because our staff is unarmed.
I'm standing just outside Kishmi border outpost, which is one of the most remote border outposts in the Valmiki Tiger Reserve, just on the India-Nepal border. This outpost is so remote that it virtually becomes inaccessible for 4 to 6 months during the monsoon period.
We started our journey into the Valmiki Tiger Reserve from among its most vulnerable sections, the Madanpur range. A large section of this forest area was inundated when a crucial road-cum-rail bridge was being built connecting northeastern Bihar to Uttar Pradesh. Waters from two streams that were blocked during construction of the Bagha-Chetauni rail-cum-road link bridge virtually destroyed surrounding forest area. Today the Forest Department has made plans to encourage tourism here. We tried out an elephant ride, all set to take on a moody pachyderm. This area of the forest is the most disturbed. Moving around with the forest officer for security, we found trucks and vehicular traffic here even after sundown. No sign of the tiger and leopards the area is famous for. All we could spot were spotted deer.
In patrolling party, we have constituted 13 patrolling party. It means 13 multiplied by 5, 65 new fellows of patrolling party. Then we have 14 anti-poaching camps. Each anti-poaching camps have 5 people. So again 14 multiplied by 5, 90. That is 90. So we have given almost you can say 150 personnel as a youth in the patrolling activity. Apart from that, we have increased the number of TT from 40 to 65. So 25 again. So overall you can say almost 200 people we have employed in last 2 years.
Before independence, the Valmiki forests were owned by two zamindars. Timber production used to be the focus area. In 1954, the state government took over management of the forest. In 1974, the area was hired out to the Bihar State Forest Development Corporation on lease. Even then, the focus remained tapping the forest commercially. Large-scale afforestation took place. Teak, semal, shisham and bamboo trees were cut. In 1994, the forest was taken back from the Bihar State Forest Development Corporation. The Valmiki Tiger Reserve was constituted as the 18th reserve under Project Tiger of the Government of India. It covers over 840 square kilometers. From the main reserve, our crew moved to another part of the forest, a recently developed region named Valmiki Nagar Range. It was well past sunset in our last day in the area, yet local forest officials gave us special permission to film these forests. Tigers frequently prowl around at night. Timber smugglers from Nepal, we are told, enter the zone post-sunset too, though it's difficult to see how in view of the broad river they have to cross. Owls seem to rule the roost here more than anyone else at this time of the night. The Valmiki Reserve forest area in India merges with the Chitwan National Park and Parsa Wildlife Reserve in Nepal. Together the area is called the Valmiki Chitwan Parsa Tiger Conservation Unit. The Valmiki Protected Area in India and Chitwan National Park and Parsa Wildlife Reserve in Nepal have been assessed as a Level 1 Tiger Conservation Unit (TCU) by US WWF. Adequate core areas and low poaching pressure are said to be the decided positives, giving tigers a bigger chance for survival. The Valmiki National Park and Wildlife Sanctuary lie in the northwesternmost West Champaran district of Bihar. The district's name is derived from two words, Champa and Aranya, meaning forest of Champa trees.
In the last 2.5 years, we have developed at least 800 to 900 hectares. And because of that, all of a sudden you will find that the sighting of this herbivorous has increased like anything. And because of that, we have got this 22 number of tigers.
The Gundog River forms the Valmiki Reserve's western boundary. The Gundog enters India at Valmiki Nagar, where two rivulets join it, forming the holy confluence Triveni, also called the Narayani in Nepal. We return to the same spot in the morning to get a better look at the most exposed part of the forest. And it was clear that human interference is the reserve's biggest problem and threat.
I am standing on the banks of the mighty Gundog River. This river flows parallel to the Valmiki Tiger Reserve. On my left hand side, you have the Indian side. On the right hand side, you have the Nepalese side. Our friends in Nepal run sawmills near the border. And this place is very sensitive as the Nepalese people constantly raid this part of the forest and indulge in forest destruction activity.
The linked and contiguous forest area of the Valmiki Tiger Reserve and Chitwan National Park in Nepal has given rise to some misunderstanding. Tigers in the forest were believed to be residents of Nepal, not India. This myth was busted this year. Independent agencies assessed that the Indian side alone had 22 resident tigers. At least 2 of the tigresses were reported moving around with cubs.
The major success story is in 2010, Wildlife Institute of India, Dehradun, through this camera trap techniques, conducted the survey of this and enumeration of tigers, and they reported to the government that the Valmiki Tiger Reserve is having only 8 tigers. And recently, with the help of WWF India, we conducted the same exercise, and today we have got the photographs of 22 individual tigers.
As part of a monitoring protocol to assess tiger numbers at the Valmiki Reserve, WWF India and the Forest Department conducted a camera trapping exercise. 22 individual tigers were photographed. Also found an adult female with 2 cubs in tow, all indicating that the Valmiki Tiger Reserve is out of the proverbial woods with its own growing resident tiger population.
It's time for us to enter into a break. When we return, we'll show you more action. Welcome back. What you see behind me is the Ganoli Forest Rest House of the Valmiki Tiger Reserve. This rest house was constructed in the 1914s and around that time, and has recently been renovated.
We move next to the most developed part of this forest, the Ganoli Forest Range, and an enthusiastic forest ranger as our guide was a definite bonus. We're told there is better administrative control over this section of the forest thanks to lesser interference from the locals. We also got a glimpse here into the working of fresh and energetic recruits of the reserve.
Took the help of this youth of the fringe villages. and hired them as a tiger tracker, patrolling party and anti-poaching camp labor worker. So we have got the very unique situation as far as this protection of this wildlife is concerned. We are doing the protection 24 hours and 7 days.
The Valmiki Tiger Reserve management follows a classic forestry formula categorized under 3 broad heads: protection and preservation activity, habitat enhancement, and ecosystem development. Anti-poaching camps, tiger tracker and patrol parties are key players in implementation of this formula.
We should try to limit people into the buffer areas, be it for fuel correction, be it for anything else. As per sanctuary, there should not be such a movement that the animals' visibility will not be possible even in the daytime. So we are trying to control this thing. And second thing is, we are trying to make them a partner in this, that is trying to promote ecotourism. So the second aspect related to this is, we are trying to create a suitable environment by habitat management, by other activities, so that the ecological aspect, quality of the forest improves, the wildlife numbers increase, tourism people who they come here for, what they come here for, they can see that, and a sort of mix of protection and tourism will be good both for the sanctuary as well as for the people.
The management at VTR believes a key to sustaining the tiger population is enhancing the number of animals that can be preyed upon. For that, habitat enhancement of herbivores becomes critical. It also needs frequent clearance of shrubs that damage the forest. We visited a site where fresh grassland was being created to increase the population of herbivores. The phoenix shrub that was preventing growth of edible grass was being removed.
Basically, phoenix is an indicator of the fire. When any forest area is damaged by the forest, this fire, then all of a sudden their natural species vanished and this phoenix take place. So we have identified the area and have incorporated in tiger conservation plan.
We also visited the botanical trail to be created as part of development of the ecosystem. Not an easy climb, but worth the effort in the end.
So we have developed some eco huts, then we have one forest lodge for accommodation, then we have some sort of safari facility like jeep safari, then bullock cart safari. So these safari activity and at least basic infrastructure for accommodation has at least attracted some people to come over and enjoy ecotourism over here.
By nightfall, the thick of the jungle ambience had set in too, together with that eerie feeling of being close to the wild, even in the company of the expert patrol team. We were treated to glimpses of the great Indian gaur, a wild boar and a nocturnal civet cat. The diversity of habitat in these forests, we found, support a variety of flora and life forms. Among the larger predators, there are tigers, leopards and Indian wild dogs. Leopard cats and fishing cats live in some pockets, as do the Indian bison, nilgai and wild boar. And an uncounted number and species of deer. Spotted deer, sambar, barking deer, hog deer and more. There's no human population in the core forest area, but where it is present, humans present sizable challenges for the forest management. Some 80,000 people inhabit 142 villages on the fringes of the reserve. Of these, residents of 42 villages have obtained official permission from the Forest Settlement Officer to collect forest wood for fuel and house construction and to graze their cattle in the forest area. Close to 60,000 livestock and cattle feeding off the forest causes severe damage to flora. More alarming is the fact that the population of this livestock is growing by the day. management problems are expected to arise soon.
It's very difficult to convince them, because we are planning to convince all the tiger this Tharo villages to declare and notified as a Jaya Conservation Reserve, when nobody is ready. And you know, since they are living in the heart of the tiger reserve, if we try to antagonize them, then all our tiger population and other wildlife population will be in danger.
In fact, in Bihar there are no forest villages. In fact, there are no villages which are located inside forest area, but these are all fringe villages which are situated on the fringe of the forest area. So we have development plans, we have many awareness programs as well as development programs. They are called entry point activities, and plus we are also under the agroforestry program. We give a special emphasis in these villages which are located just outside the forest area, so that they have their normal the wood stock and other things from their village itself, and the pressure on the forest comes down.
The management at the Valmiki Tiger Reserve has come up with innovative ideas to connect inaccessible patches of the forest. They're made from the local natural resources and designed, constructed and maintained by the Forest Department. The low-cost, low-maintenance bridges over rivulets have been game changers. Our crew use them frequently to reach into remote areas. One of these bridges also brought us face to face with one of the highlights of our tour, the spot where a tiger had been, a tiger kill, a reflection of the animal's sheer force and its aura. Out of all this, the Valmiki Tiger Reserve in Bihar emerges as an example of man and animal living side by side despite inherent conflicts and pressures from both sides. And even beyond this reserve alone, around India's all-crucial forest sanctuaries, the protection of these dwindling species is an issue that seeks urgent attention.
Thank you for watching this special report. We'll be back with a new issue and a new episode. Keep watching Raj Sabha TV.